Hi everyone, Chaz916 here. Welcome to my RPG channel. Today we are going to take a look at the revised version of the Chamion Subclass. Now I've played this, or had this played at my table several times. I was not overly impressed with it. The players did not seem to enjoy it as much as I thought they should, and it just didn't seem to have the punch. It just wasn't quite there. So everybody agreed it needed some work during the playtest. We had lots of different opinions on how to change it and try to make it better. But I'm really anxious to see what they have done. I did review this video before I decided to do this one today because there are several things in it that are, wow, surprising. Um, One of those is a rule change for surprise. So let's get started here and let's see how all of this is going and kind of pay attention to how some of the changes in this class and the changes in surprise are going to work together. It's really kind of interesting. All right, let's get started.
So the champion has still the same core identity as before, having a greater chance of scoring critical hits than pretty much anyone else in the game. But we really wanted to bring a bit more oomph to the subclass so that it would not only continue to be fun for the people who love its more streamlined play style, but also so that it might appeal to even those of us who often like a bunch of tactical options, which is one of the reasons why in our playtests I spent so much time myself playing a champion, because I wanted the champion to be at a place where I myself can say I had a great time playing it.
Right.
And I can say that wholeheartedly, that I had some of my most fun in the last year and a half in our playtesting playing a champion fighter. So weapon mastery with the champion is really like wonderful spice added to a tight, streamlined base. Again, we still wanted to make sure that the champion retained its streamlined nature while getting a little more spice of its own, not relying entirely on weapon mastery to bring that spice, but to get some of its own. And so with that in mind, we redesigned the Remarkable Athlete feature. And it now does a couple of things. First, combining with the champion's greater chance of scoring critical hits, Remarkable Athlete has made it so that whenever the champion scores a critical hit, the champion can move a certain distance without provoking opportunity attacks. So this allows the champion perhaps to score a crit and fell a target, and then without having to use any of their regular move, start making their way toward their next target.
Right.
Okay, did you guys notice that? I know it was really kind of subtle, but basically the champion is now getting extra movement. In addition to, of course, the benefit of not being able to attack while he's doing it. That's an interesting improvement. Okay, what do you guys think about it? Let's keep going and see what we got coming up.
Or move to another tactically advantageous position on the battlefield. We've also made it so that Remarkable Athlete gives the champion advantage on strength athletics checks, but even better on initiative rolls.
Okay, guys, I want you to keep this in mind because the effects of this change are going to be felt all the way through the video. So think about that and think about how that might affect your games and just have a listen at this.
Because we view the champion as being this person who is relentlessly pursuing victory, and they are ready to fight. And there are only a few characters in the player's handbook who have this, once they reach a certain level, an always-on advantage on initiative. And the champion is one, the assassin is another, and the rogue, and then the barbarian class all up eventually gets it.
Okay, also, think about the effects of that stuff with a changed surprise rule. Okay, let's keep going.
This ability is not only fantastic on its own, because it simply means you have a better chance of acting first, or at least sooner, in any battle that you're participating in, but it has an especially nice interaction with how surprise now works. Because the surprise rules in the new player's handbook have been changed. Rather
Okay, before you actually hear about the change, and he'll probably go into why, but if you are like me and you watch, I don't want to plug them. I don't want to give them a plug on this one because then I'll have to give them credit. But let's just call them a group of actors who play games and they record it. Okay. Anyway, one of their recent episodes, they had a player group that had surprise, had initiative on it, and they surprised their opponent, and they pretty much trounced them. I mean, they knocked what would have been an epic battle down to, a medium type battle. And this, see, surprise tends to be overpowered. If you have a mid to high level character, party of characters, they can really throw a lot during that one round when their opponent doesn't get to move. It is really kind of overpowered at higher levels, and I think a lot of us know that. Most of us, well, a lot of us have homebrewed it, at least in the shop where I go. Most of us have kind of changed that, and that's what's going on here. But here, I'll let him explain it to you, and if you don't understand it from me, maybe you'll get it from him.
than there being a potential for certain combatants to simply be unable to act during the first round of a fight, a possibility that frankly ended up really unbalancing the game in certain circumstances, because the old surprise rules could very easily trivialize an entire encounter, and often way more so than they were intended to. You know, it was really supposed to be sort of a narrative thing of, oh look, you got the jump on somebody, but causing another side to essentially spend the entire first round of a combat gawking would often mean, in some cases, why are we even having the fight? Like,
Yeah, and this goes both ways because if you have players at your table and they can't act and they're just sitting there staring off into space while they're being attacked, that kind of makes the game not just, it makes it boring, okay? And the players can get hurt really bad and have a very tough battle after that and maybe not survive, which isn't really fair. I know the game doesn't always have to be fair, but I like my players to at least have a chance. Anyway, let's keep going.
the DM can just say, you won.
Yeah.
And so we wanted there still to be the possibility of feeling like you have an edge, but we needed to defang how powerful surprise was. And so in the new rules, being surprised simply means you have disadvantage on your initiative roll, meaning you are likely to go after the people who surprised you, although it's not guaranteed. The reason why I'm bringing this up in relation to the champion is it means because the champion always has advantage on their initiative rolls, even if they're surprised,
Right, yeah.
they still don't have disadvantage. It just means their advantage is canceled by the disadvantage, meaning the champion, the assassin, and the barbarian are really hard to surprise, which is exactly what we want. We want...
Okay, folks, you're probably beginning to see what I was talking about. But it gets worse. I mean, pay attention to the extra, well, just pay close attention and think about what he's saying, and I think you guys will see it too. It's pretty far out there.
These characters to...
Always be ready.
They are ready.
Yeah.
They are ready to fight.
Yeah.
Or in the case of the assassin, they're ready to get you.
Yeah. They don't want this. They don't want to fight. They want to end the fight.
Yeah, the assassin wants the fight to end before it even starts.
It's already over. Yeah.
So there are some other enhancements in the champion. The additional fighting style feature that used to be at level 10 has moved down to level 7. And then at level 10, there's now a brand new feature. It's called Heroic Warrior. And every time the champion starts their turn in combat and doesn't have heroic inspiration, they get it automatically.
Oh, wow.
And remember, the new heroic inspiration lets you re-roll any die roll. So the champion could use this to re-roll their d20.
Okay, and just a heads up, that includes an initiative roll. So it went from disadvantage to regular, and now he can re-roll it and maybe get it even higher. Just so you know.
20 roll in the hope of fishing for crits, but they could also use it to re-roll a damage die or some other die that they're using on their turn. What this means is that a champion, every turn in combat, has a re-roll in their pocket, which, again, simple, but potentially very effective. Finally, their level 18 feature, Survivor, now, in addition to its other functions that it had before, also gives the champion advantage on death saving throws, and they essentially gain their expanded crit range that they have on attack rolls, also on death saves. And here's what I mean by that. Now, when they're making death saving throws, if they roll an 18, 19, or 20, when they have this Survivor feature, they gain the benefit of having rolled a 20. They basically, they can roll a critical death saving throw with a bigger range, since that's also their theme with their attack rolls, meaning it is really hard to keep a champion down.
And what does a critical death saving throw do? So
when you roll a 20 on a death saving throw, you gain a hit point, which means you stop dying.
Yeah.
So that's the best thing that can happen to you, because...
Okay, GMs out there who complain sometimes it's very hard to kill player characters, think about the effect that is going to have on trying to kill a champion, a character who has player who's got a champion character. So we have basically a champion who is relentless, who is basically almost impossible to surprise, and even harder to kill than most of the other characters. I would say, yeah, they gave it some oomph. What do you guys think?
That erases all of the death saving throw failures you might have accrued up to that point, and then you have the potential to get back into the fight.
The new Player's Handbook is available for pre-order right now.
Okay, guys, before I finish this out with their ending, let me give you my own. And that is, I'm going to thank you guys for joining me, for taking some time out and listening to this and listening to them rant and me rant. And again, thank you guys and take care. I shall see you on the next one.
D&D Beyond, you can find that link in the video description. And you can also find the new core rulebooks bundle for pre-order, both physical and digital. Thank you so much for watching. We have a ton of video content coming out about the new Player's Handbook and all the new core rulebooks, the new Monster Manual, the new Dungeon Master's Guide. So be sure to check out all of that content. And thank you for watching.